We are going from 0 to 60 with Encanto. So let's get cracking. Hello, all my explorers, and welcome back to Loren's Adventures Out There. And if you're new, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. My name is Loren, and I'm with Castles, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We talk Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, The Muppets, ABC, 20th Century, Disney Plus, Hulu. If it is about Disney, we are talking about it. So if you enjoy that kind of content, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. So we are continuing our series from 0 to 60, in which we look at the films of the Walt Disney Animation Studios in chronological order. We started with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and guess what? We are ending with Encanto, and we are talking about 2021's Encanto today. Directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard, Encanto takes place in Colombia and revolves around the Madrigal family, whose members have super abilities, all but one, Mirabel. When the family and its magical house, the Casita, are threatened, only Mirabel can save them all. During the publicity tour for Moana, famed songwriter and playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda revealed he was working on a new musical project for Disney. At the same time, Howard and Bush said that after Zootopia, they would be directing a musical with Miranda. The three talked about their common experience of having large families and decided to have the film be about a large family. As they brainstormed, they realized three things about large families. One, most of us don't feel truly seen by our families. Two, most of us carry burdens we never let our family see. And three, most of us are oblivious that nearly all of us, especially within our families, feel exactly the same way. Miranda then suggested that Latin music would be the best way to convey the family. Bush and Howard discussed the project and the idea of making it set in Latin America with Juan Rendon and Natalie Ozma, who had previously worked with them on the making of documentary Imagining Zootopia. Both Rendon and Ozma were from Colombia, and the filmmakers became enamored with the idea of setting the film in Colombia. Ozma and Rendon became the first members of the Colombian Cultural Trust to ensure accuracy and respect for Colombian culture. The filmmakers, including Miranda, went to Colombia to research and soak up the local culture. They were inspired by smaller towns who had different personalities due to the isolation of the mountains. While the timeline is not specific, the filmmakers were inspired by the early 1900s Colombia, employing a folkloric Colombian aesthetic. Also during that time, the Thousand-Day War took place, with many villagers fleeing, which would impact the Madrigal family. They wanted to be sure to employ magic realism, a style of storytelling popular in South America that involves realistic stories with magical elements. To do so effectively, Bush and Howard brought on Charisse Castro-Smith for her experience writing magical realism. Due to his experience with the first draft of Moana that had her the sister of 8 brothers, Manuel knew Disney would be hesitant to do a large family. So Manuel quickly wrote La Familia Madrigal to show that it could be done. Writers developed the characters so they fit various family archetypes, so their gifts would not seem so arbitrary. Like all Disney movies, the story went through many drafts that included one where Augustine finds a magical doorknob to another time, one where Alma is from the big city, one where Isabel and Mirabel get into a physical fight, and so on. To ensure accurate designs of characters and to reflect the true culture of Colombia, they employed journalist Edna Liliana Valencia Murillo as an Afro-Caribbean consultant who greatly contributed to the looks of Felix, Dolores, Camilo, and Antonio. They also hired anthropological and botanical experts to help them flesh out the world of Encanto. In Encanto, the characters and families were represented by colors, patterns, and textiles. Peppa and Felix's family wear warm colors such as orange, yellow, and red to represent the Caribbean feel. By contrast, Julieta and Augustine's side wear cool tones of blue, purple, and greens. Alma sits in the middle with darker purple, black, and brown. Each madrigal wears some sort of symbol representing their gift, except Mirabel, who wears a skirt with all the symbols. As music, rhythm, and dance are intrinsic parts of Colombian culture, the filmmaker hired African American choreographer Jamil Sims and Colombian American dancer Kai Martinez as the film's animation reference consultants. The choreographers developed individual choreography for each character. Over 800 crew, 105 of which were animators, worked on the film. While animators were going to take a research trip to Colombia, it was canceled due to the onset of the COVID pandemic. So they had to work remotely with the trust to become acclimated with Colombia and Colombian culture. In June 2020, Miranda revealed he was writing the film's music, which would have 8 original songs in both Spanish and English. He had been working on the music since Encanto's initial development in 2016. Germaine Franco, co-composer of the songs of Pixar's Coco, scored the film. The soundtrack was a huge success and reached #1 on the US Billboard 200, becoming the first Disney soundtrack since Frozen 2 to top the chart. The track We Don't Talk About Bruno broke various records and became one of Disney's most successful songs of all time. It topped the US Billboard Hot 100 and was Disney's first #1 song in the 21st century on that chart, making Encanto the first Disney film to produce a #1 song and a #1 album. Encanto made $256.5 million worldwide at the box office. While this seems low, the film was still a pandemic-era film and had the highest opening weekend for an animated film during COVID. Critically, the film scored 91% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, with the critical consensus stating, Encanto's setting and cultural perspective are new for Disney, but the end result is the same, enchanting, beautifully animated fun for the whole family. So, what did I think of Encanto? I love Encanto. Although I have to admit that it took me 2 viewings. The first viewing, I was just kind of like, And I didn't quite know what I thought of the music, which was weird because I really love the music of the film. And it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Hello. So it took me 2 viewings. Sometimes that happens with me. It takes 2 viewings or maybe more for me to really enjoy a film. Now I know I am one of those people who it's hard to not please me. I do love a lot of different things, and pretty much I love every Disney animated film. Now, everything can't be at the top, but this one is closer to the top. Maybe not in the top 10, but I do love this film, and the music is amazing to me. We don't talk about Bruno. I could not get out of my head for a long time. But it's weird because it's not like Let It Go, where like Let It Go just completely battered my brain, and I can't. It's like so hard for me to hear that song anymore. But we don't talk about Bruno. I still enjoy listening to it. I don't know why. Surface Pressure is another great song. I love the La Familia Madrigal. I love all the music to the film. I think that the grandmother Alma was such a great character for being kind of the villain without being the villain. You know what I mean? We kind of hated her at times, but we saw where she was coming from. And I had my father's mother was a great woman, but she was also a very hard woman. And when I think of some of the stories of what she did, like during World War II, she hid the family money in shoots of bamboo when the Japanese invaded the Philippines. And, just stories like that where you think to yourself, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And so Alma, was a really intriguing character to me because she did remind me of my father's mother, which is interesting because most Disney grandmothers remind me of my mother's mother. So this was kind of a nice change to be reminded of my father's mother. I thought the cast was amazing, and I love the fact that they were all Colombian, of Colombian descent, whether they be part Colombian or all Colombian. So I really love this film, and I highly recommend it if you have not watched it already. Uh, did you watch Encanto? And if you did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below, and visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you later. Bye!